After years of time on the water, countless hunting explorations, highs and lows, and endless stories from old-timers, RCRL has decided to pull the trigger and bring you to the front line and offer a refreshed avenue to re-experience the outdoors. From the weekend outdoorsman to a day-by-day professional, RCRL plans to share their tactics, stories, and opportunities that will turn you into a more informed and effective outdoorsman. In the first episode, we want you to hear our personal upbringings and how RCRL was born. As three guys from a variety of backgrounds, you'll hear from lifetime outdoorsman Hunter Hughes, followed by Josh Soroka, who took a more competitive route as a tournament angler, and Dakota Chappelle, who found his way to become president of his college's Coastal Conservation Association. Be prepared for numerous giveaways, weekly posts, and action-packed episodes that will bring you closer to the outdoors than ever before. We plan to recast and reload our knowledge back into the industry, so knock the dust off those old tackle boxes and break out the boomsticks. It's time to re-experience the outdoors. So, Hunter, if you want to go ahead and just kind of talk a little bit about where your experience in the outdoors started and kind of what it's done for you, outside of work, outside of your everyday conversations, and all the way to some time on the boat and time in the deer stand.
Yeah. I started hunting with my dad when I was still in a car seat. I was probably 4 years old, and my dad always took me out to the deer stand with him and everything. When it came to rifle season, bow season, I couldn't hunt with him just because you got to be quiet, close quarters, And but my dad started me off with a pellet gun when I was 4 or 5 years old, and got me used to shooting a gun, but never put a actual centerfire cartridge rifle in front of me until it was time to rock and roll. And I remember sitting in the deer stand when I was 5 years old, and 20-inch 8-point walks out, and my dad said, "It's time." And I remember shooting that deer, immediately getting the shakes and not knowing what it was, and got down, saw that deer and everything like that, and I will never forget.
Makes you shake talking about it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, gets you some buck fever going on. Yeah. And I just it'd be cool to like let people experience that. And so yeah, I've hunted my whole life. I've fished. I remember first time I ever casted a reel by myself, a little Zebco, sitting at my dad's buddy's pond.
Zebco 33.
Yeah, and we were fishing at the pond. I remember all my friends and stuff were getting on a dirt bike or four-wheeler running around the whole entire property. And first thing I'd do, get out of the truck, grab a fishing pole. I wanted to go catch a fish. It's just a cool feeling to catch a fish and just know that you caught it with a string and a hook. I mean, it's kind of weird. You can't see them, but you can feel them tug on that line.
It's like a whole nother world.
Yeah, it's just a whole nother world. You don't know what you're gonna pull in, but you know what you're looking for. And we've just been fishing and hunting my whole life, and my dad really got me into it, and I just love the conversations after shooting a deer, sitting by a camp with a campfire going, and Dad's cooking dinner while my uncle's showing me how to clean a deer and everything, and it's just a cool experience. And hadn't been able to stop since.
It's that stuff you just don't forget.
Yeah, yeah. And my family's been hunting and fishing their whole life too. I mean, I've grown up around it. My great grandpa was a professional fisherman, fished with Bill Dance all the time. My dad got to meet Bill Dance. Bill Dance told my dad that my grandpa was one of the best worm fishermen he's ever fished with. And
that's saying something.
And it was a pretty cool feeling hearing that after watching all the bloopers of Bill Dance and stuff like that, and it really just stuck with me. But I never really got competitive. I really never got really competitive in fishing until high school. I mean, I thought it'd always be cool to tournament fish and stuff like that. My dad's always talked about it, but we never started that until high school. My dad actually ended up buying a boat so that way he could be our captain, and really just started from them. And I mean, like Josh said, being able to talk to people and broaden your horizons with different groups of guys and stuff, the older folk, and I mean, younger guys like me and Josh just started from there. I mean, me and Josh never really hung out until, I mean, later on through high school and everything, but we always kind of stayed in contact with each other with social media, just always looking for different, talking about, hey, man, what'd you catch that fish on? Or is the rut going on in the panhandle? Because me and him have always hunted pretty close together, but never really knew it until later on down the road. And it's just a cool experience to have conversations with guys that like to do the same things as you. And even if you don't know that you like it, it's just cool to experience the outdoors and have conversations with guys that really live and breathe the outdoors.
Yeah, and like fishing wise, like high school fishing wise, is we kind of came into it at a really good time because like the whole Texas High School Bass Association that we fished in really started in 2013, 2014, because like we graduated in 2017, and I remember freshman year fishing a tournament with 70 boats, and that was all the Texas High School Bass Association. And then next thing you know, we're seniors, and there's 350 boats and one of 6 divisions. But yeah, like you said, is whenever we were fishing in high school, we never really had a tight niche friendship outside of fishing. It was just fishing and knowing we both fished, and it was that language we both spoke to one another, and that's what always brought us closer. Even now, like now we live together. Now we, talk every day about hunting and fishing, and it's a different verse, a different language that we're able to be surrounded with going day to day. But
exactly,
yeah, man, that's awesome. That's pretty cool.
And it's just, it'd be cool to, like we said, like what we're trying to start here is just getting other people out and to experience that kind of lifestyle, and
it goes,
get to know everybody, and you make new friendships that last forever. Just, hey man, you want to go fishing? I mean, that's where it starts right there. You want to go fishing, and then you get to where you learn new techniques and learn to fish deep water, shallow water, what baits to throw, what to look for. I mean, it's just all about experience. I mean, and if
time on the water,
that's what it is. Time on the water, time in the stand. I mean,
time on the water, time in the stand.
Learn to smell a deer from miles away. Just.
Well, that's exactly what you said. Was it's just somebody reaching out to another person and saying, "Hey, let's go fish." Because like that's exactly what happened to me whenever it comes to like my fishing career. Is whenever so like where I started, and I was 11, 12 years old. I went and hunted in Utah with my uncle, and I mean my dad, he's from South Philadelphia. My mom, she's 3rd generation Texan, so it's 2 completely different worlds. And I grew up just kind of running around in the creeks and catching turtles and whatnot, but first time I ever went hunting was with my uncle, and after I shot that 410, and it was like, oh man, this is pretty cool. I shot that pheasant right there, fun stuff. But it was like a bug, and then I came home, and my buddy Jackson was like, hey, you're kind of into the outdoors now. Like you want to go fishing, and like after first couple times we started fishing together, I went to Academy, bought a giant 9-foot catfish rod.
Yep,
and
starter.
There's this place called Flint Ridge, and every single day after school, I just started fishing, and that led into so much more than I ever would have imagined, and it all started with that first time going fishing. And like I said, I started later in life. Hunter, you've been doing it your entire life. You started whenever, like you said, when you were just in a stroller and your dad didn't want to take you bow hunting because you'd be making too much noise.
Exactly. Exactly.
And from Flint Ridge catching small little 2-pound bass to going to this place called Camp Bass at Lake Fork. I ended up being a counselor there for 2 years, and I was able to see younger guys, younger girls get into fishing, and I was a counselor there, and that was just awesome. And then next thing you know, we get into high school fishing, and like I said earlier, whenever we first started in THSBA, Texas High School Bass Association, there was 70 boats and the whole organization. And then throughout that time frame, me and my fishing partner, we set out a goal to win Angler of the Year by the time we were seniors, and we ended up winning Angler of the Year in the West Division out of, I think it was like 400 boats. So that was awesome. From there, I got into college fishing at Texas State and took that to a very competitive level. And I think there was 3 showings that I was able to make for national championship outings for FLW, which is now MLF. And then after that, I was just all in with hunting. But like I'm saying, is it all started with that one conversation with my buddy Jackson of, hey, let's go fish in the creek. And I was able to take it to a collegiate level, and even to this day, I have over half my friends are from college fishing, from high school fishing, and I ended up at Texas State where I met Dakota. And Dakota, this is where it just gets real cool, is 3 completely different tiers of outdoorsmen. We got Hunter that's been doing it his whole life. Me starting whenever I was, 10, 11 years old, and then Dakota, which he's always been surrounded by it. And Dakota, you want to talk a little bit about like your whole experience in the outdoors?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I
don't know if it's a lot, but
it's about piss poor, but realistically, I met Josh 6-7 years ago now. That's when we became close as can be. But my hunting career started. My dad, he was always musician in cars. He rebuilt cars, he played music. So I was never really into that world of completely hunting. All my buddies had parents that they're hunting every weekend. My dad's, he's in there stringing up a new bass. So I really never had that love when I was a child. So I can't really see eye to eye with Hunter or Josh in that area. But when I got older, I went out with my buddies. I did my first trip in Glen Rose on some old decommissioned Air Force base. I think I shot a little bitty doe, but it was the first thing I ever shot, and I was like just almost tranquilized by just how different it was. I was like, this is amazing. But again, like I said, my dad, that was never his forte. So I got older. I had buddies that, they all had a shotgun, they had a rifle, they were ready. So I'd borrow what I can, go out there, blow up some rabbits, blow up some squirrels. We'd skin them, we'd eat them, make squirrel and dumplings. It was, you could pick out hairs for an hour.
Squirrel and dumplings. Time out. Let me take a step back.
I got pranked one damn time where it was a roadkill squirrel they didn't tell me about. I thought it was one we shot, and they just blew it up and were like, hey, take a bite of this. I'm like, yeah,
so it was raw?
No, it wasn't raw. We did a good job cooking it up. I just didn't realize one of the squirrels was a roadkill boy.
There's almost so much Tony's you can put on a squirrel to make it taste alright.
And I'll tell you right now, there's some real life world class squirrel hunters out there. So any squirrel hunters out there listening to this, they're probably like, man, was it a gray squirrel? Was it a fox squirrel? They want to know more about it. So come on, tell them.
It was a squirrel in the backyard and a tree running about. And that's
Urban.
It was a little urban squirrel.
Urban
It
squirrel.
saw some stuff in its life.
Them power line
But,
jumpers.
Yeah.
Like, just from when I started, it took a while for me to, just get out there and experience the outdoors. I mean, I always had buddies, like I said, I've always had buddies that were kind of in that surrounding, but I'm later in life. So I'd say high school, college, where I finally just got that itch where I was like, man, I need just something about going out and fishing, jumping over some, fences we weren't supposed to be jumping over. It got me going to just feeling great. And that's when we just had this discussion to start this up. And I was like, man, being a part of the wilderness, exploring, just being on a different mindset, it's just calming. It just takes away from everyday life of having to go to work, having to do just minuscule tasks to being one with nature at the end of the day. And so that's something I just fell in love with, whether it be going to fish, deep sea. Done that 2 times now. It was mind-blowing. One time the engine blew out and we thought we were all going to die. But, it's just something I fell in love with.
Yeah.
Obviously later in the game, but once I had the opportunity, I had those buddies in CCA at Texas State. I, one way or another, became the president of our CCA chapter at Texas State. We grew from 6 to, 50 people in a year and a half, and raised more money for the Coastal Conservation Association than any time before in Texas State.
From Hunter's first time on a hunt to Dakota's squirrel dumplings, we're excited you made it through our first episode. Now that you've gotten to know the team a little better, we want to give anyone the opportunity to come on the show and share their stories and get to know their why when it comes to the outdoors. Thank you for hopping on the boat with us, and stay tuned as there's much more to come.